All right. How is it going, everybody? So, today's live video, and I'm doing this very late, definitely at a very odd time scheduling, but what I wanted to do was actually break down some of SHOT Show and actually like not be rushed as far as getting any type of set whatever. Because when I tried to do the breakdown of some of the things that we saw at SHOT Show, unfortunately, the one night that was allocated time to actually go and try to talk to you guys, that was the one night we actually had a meal scheduled that was several weeks ahead. Hi. So this video is going to be breaking down what we saw at SHOT Show and hopefully answering some of the things that you guys have questions about. And this will be kind of a teaser of the products that and brands that I'll be making videos about before I actually make them about what the brand is. That made zero sense, but I hope you guys are going to follow along. So I have an actual list beside me of all the brands that we went and saw at SHOT Show. I'm also going to, I don't know where I was going with that. What I meant to say is I have ample amount of time right now, right? So I can sit down, answer any questions that you guys have, not rush for time, and kind of break down that SHOT Show experience. If you guys actually have not seen the SHOT Show preview video that I did, was about, I put that up last Friday, and that was about 1 minute 45 seconds. And I tried to make that as accurate to how SHOT Show actually feels from a viewing standpoint. So if you guys haven't seen it, I'll put a link down below for it. But it's 1 minute 45 seconds. But I intentionally made the score or the sound of the video. Hi, Michael. Try to make the music kind of accurate to how the videos would show up. So I did. The intro was much slower. It was a synth 80s wave. And then that was all of the footage leading up to SHOT Show. So it was us in the airport, us getting onto the plane taking off, and then very quickly Tuesday morning pops up, and that's first day of SHOT Show. It immediately goes to a very heavy beat. And then it had a really crazy rock to it. It was really cool. And then I had the actual cuts from all the video clips that I took from SHOT Show, and I kind of cut them up into 1 second pieces, and that kind of took up the entire remaining 1 minute 45 seconds. And it's intended to be just a complete blur of everything that we're seeing, because it really is just a huge rush of meeting with people, talking with our reps, just trying to link up with as many people as possible, because we're only there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we actually were at SHOT Show Thursday morning, and then Thursday night, we're back here in Wisconsin, and we were at the store here Thursday night, and it was super exhausting. And it's really weird to like think on last Friday, that I was like, I was just hanging out with the PTS boys yesterday morning, making a video. How weird was that? So go check out the SHOT Show preview. I think that was a lot of fun. But of the brands that I want to discuss, we are going to start off with a little brand name called True Spec. So True Spec was there. They are a clothing brand that we bring in. We have their uniforms, their pants, their tops, some gloves of theirs, some patches from True Spec. We got to meet up, and we were actually talking about some of the new clothing line that's coming out. If you guys are not familiar with Cry Precision, they have a couple different cut of pants, the tactical series that they make. And the most current, I think, is the Gen 3 cut. Very iconic type of pant from Cry Precision, and a lot of people are copying it. So True Spec is doing their own version of the Cry Gen 3s, and we got to see some of the final versions of the direct action pants. And overall, they look really good. Really impressed with those. We're going to be able to get some into the store. We're going to be able to test some out for you guys, do an actual video of those direct action pants, because they are going to be a little bit pricier. So we're going to play with them down at the arena. We're going to play with them outdoors. We're going to stretch them out. We're going to do a bunch of things to those direct action pants. We're also going to get a couple different of their newer combat shirts as well. And we'll be able to actually break down kind of why those pants and those tops are going to be a little more expensive and why you guys should possibly consider getting some of those for yourselves. They looked really good. They felt really good, but it's one thing to hold and touch, but it's another thing to actually feel and go play with them. So we're really excited to be able to work with the True Spec and make videos on that. The other thing that I want to talk about is Lbx, which I actually have the video up and out. That is on the YouTube channel. That's actually the first video from SHOT Show that I have put out for you guys. And while meeting with Bo, our rep, and is also one of the, I guess, commanders for AMS, American Milsim, one of the larger Milsim event hosts around the nation. It was really good to meet up with him, really good to hear some of his feedback based on the player audience that is attending some of those AMS events and kind of his 2 cents as to what's working, what's not working, and being able to feed that off of what we're seeing from other event coordinators. They're very, very much in touch with their player base. It was really cool to see that. The other thing was looking at, obviously, the new Lbx Gear. So this year, they're not releasing any new pants or shirts, but they are coming out with new plate carriers, and they are coming out with new placard systems, which I don't have my Lbx Armistice here, but I do have something that's going to be similar for you guys to take a look at. So the new Armistice plate carrier is going to be a much greater system. I'm really impressed with it. It felt really comfortable. Funny story, the one that you guys see in the video, the one prototype that they had at a SHOT Show was a prototype. It's not officially the final version, but in the video of making the Lbx video, I was like, hey, Bo, I'm going to let you know I'm going to try this prototype on. And he's like, go for it, brother. And so he made the offhand comment that I was the first one to actually put the prototype plate carrier on while attending SHOT Show. So I was like, that's what? It's a brand new gear product and no one else on the market wants to try it on for themselves and really like get a feel to how it fits. I thought that was a little weird, but I really liked it. It was super comfortable. What was really unique is that so the Lbx Placard System, this what would be the black colored panel here, the placard would come off, and then you can clip something in place, and then you can stick it back on. So what was really cool is that they're making a couple different models available as far as mag pouch systems. So what is the one thing that all of the super awesome Milsim players and even some of the Speedsoft players have in common as far as rifle system that's not an M4? An MP5. So it was phenomenal that Lbx finally was like, you know what? We're going to be making some MP5 mag carriers. And it was like, thank God someone is finally making an MP5 specific mag holder. Thank God. That was really cool to see, and that was super exciting. They're also designing the placard system to come not only in the 1/2 inch, but also have an adapter for a 3/4 inch. So you can take those out and you can put whatever you want. So on the Armistice systems, those are going to be a 1/2 inch clip. So you have to get brands that are going to have the 1/2 inch clip versus the HSGI and the other head-on tactical brand that I like, head-on tactical, those are going to be a 3/4 inch. So those are not compatible with the Lbx plate carrier placard systems. So it was really cool to be like, oh yeah, now I can actually run my really nice real firearm brand equipment on my Armistice, which is still firearm, but that's LBT. Anyway, so the Armistice also is going to have a slightly different back placard system. Very similar to the Armistice, but they're incorporating a different back panel. Excuse me, frick. The bungees on the Armistice for the cummerbund, super impressive. With most plate carriers, they're designed to be somewhat stiff versus the Armistice. The new ones have a lot of give to them. So what was happening, if you guys haven't seen the video yet, is on a normal plate carrier like that, if you flex your shoulders back and your chest forward, it's a very odd motion to have. But if you do that, there becomes a wall that you just are, there's resistance on the plate carrier because it doesn't stretch to it. The new plate carrier, you have total range. It was impressive just how much flex I could get that cummerbund to move. And then you can also see when I grab the cummerbund itself and start to stretch and pull at it, there's a lot of give. So if there's any type of guys that are a little bit larger, maybe guys that don't do nearly as much cardio, go to the workout, and maybe size up on the sides here pretty often, that's going to be a great plate carrier. Also, if you have a plate carrier like this guy that is sized for when you're running just your sweatshirt or a t-shirt, then you want to run cold weather, well, that cummerbund now is going to stretch out and incorporate the different sizes of cold weather gear that you will have. So the sides here, like what I have, this pouch is specifically designed to go on that set of mole. Well, if I put a winter coat on and I go and try to put this on, well, now the cummerbund actually slides over and the pouch position has shifted on me, which we don't want. So the Lbx system is out answering a lot of really good tactical systems, and I'm just a huge fan already of just the prototype. So really excited with Lbx. What are some of the questions and comments that we have? No, I did not get to sneak the plate carrier away. I was really hoping they would, but you know what I did get to sneak away with is this guy. So this is part of the LBT, the London Bridge Training Company, part of their Golden Badge series, which is a very limited edition run. I'm going to get up close. Try to focus this. So we got that guy, and it's going to unfocus. So it's a card holder. You open it up, and all your business cards are inside of there. Sorry, it's super dark off in front of the camera, but that's how it is, unfortunately. I'm going to refocus this. Shoo. So they were giving these out to the guys that were uber cool. In fact, this was off well behind a couple of curtains. So when we were done wrapping up with Bo, he was like, you guys hang on here for just a minute. I need to go in back and grab something for you guys. And then he came back with this. So these I hear are reselling really high on the eBay markets. So I'm going to use the shit out of it. Was Condor at SHOT this year? Yes, Condor was at SHOT Show this year. We didn't go and check any of the Condor stuff out. We're kind of a little bit biased against Condor because we used to have an account with them, and then they just stopped taking our money and fulfilling orders. So it was like, we don't know what's up. So unfortunately, Condor has a lot of really cool stuff. I've got a lot of Condor bags and pouches and tactical gear like that. They're really good bang for your buck. But because they just don't want to continue to have an account with us, then we just can't do anything with it. Kind of sucks. From Lbx, I would like to talk about PTS. And there's a siren in the background. Sorry about that. PTS has the Spark Unity, or not the Spark Unity, but the Unity Tactical brand. They also have the Zev brand, and they also have a couple of brands, but they're working on, what's your opinion about, I was just going to get to that. God, Gears, relax. I'm getting to it. So he beat me to the punchline, but yes. So PTS is going to be producing one of these Zev rifle systems with CYMA Platinum internal systems. And there's going to be a couple of different variations to the attachments that are going to come on the rifle. The PTS guys did talk about the different changes that are going to be coming on the final production. There was a lot of prototyping this year. And the other thing, a lot of brands are going with the CYMA Platinum manufacturing for some reason. Like CYMA Platinum series is just blowing up. It is incredible how many new rifle systems are coming from the CYMA factory. Like way more than you guys would probably expect. And It's really impressive. So we have those guys. Yeah. So the other system that PTS is going to be releasing is the Unity tactical attachments, and I'm going to be releasing the video on that as well. But that is going to be incorporating real firearm accessories. So in conjunction with the riser systems, since I actually have my 416 here with that Unity high-rise mount system, specifically designed to run with night vision systems. Speaking of night vision, yes, I did add that to the list. When running night vision, you need a higher rise optic in order to actually look down your optic systems. So what Unity Tactical is doing is they're incorporating the EOTech and Aimpoint 3x magnifiers with the riser systems. And PTS is going to be releasing the Airsoft variant of this. So this is the PTS Unity. The PTS Unity flip to side, which is not actually a flip to side, it flips down, which I was really impressed with. I was like, there's enough clearance here to then just click up instead of having the entire thing flip off to the side. I was really impressed by the ingenuity of that. And they had it on with a EOTech optic system. They didn't have it with this red dot system that I would typically run with. So I would have liked to see how I would have run it, but whatever. To each their own. But it was still really impressive to see that flip down system instead of the flip off to the side. But it's not just that they're doing, they're also incorporating some different, like on the front here, they have a tactical hub system, which you have a set iron sight, you have a flip up iron sight, but then off to the left and right, you can attach different surefire and another brand of flashlight or laser system. And then they're also releasing some remote switches. So then you can take those wires and then you can remote them to like a vert grip or off to the side of the receiver, or like what all the cool guys are doing up on the 45 degree of the rail system here. So PTS is putting out a lot of super high-end tactical stuff. Love to see it. Love to see all the really nice, awesome systems. What else we got? Affordable 4 from with the QBS. No, so PTS is not releasing the 416. That's going to be Elite Force, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Silent Platinum Series, great bang for your buck, extremely upgradable. Main issue from my understanding is the receiver cracking. Yeah, if you put way too much force on that side of the receiver, then yeah, it's going to start breaking. But that's with any metal receiver. Once you start applying too much force, it's going to crack. It's just at what point of that applied force does it crack. Unity for life. Anything good on the affordable weapons light? So the next thing from PTS is the MAWL system, the MAWL, the MAWL system. For any of the super operator guys that deal with real firearms, it's obviously late enough I can't spell MAWL. But it's what all of the higher end elite operators are utilizing as far as their visible laser system and their infrared laser systems. So like kind of like what I have here, but actually not here. This is not a good example. Oh, did you guys also see I got my RPG in? No one mentioned any of that yet. So we're all used to the more modernized PEX systems. We've got a PEX 16 right here. But this is going to be a visible light, visible laser, and an infrared laser. So just imagine if they just took the visible flashlight off and they just incorporated the individual hub for the visible laser and infrared laser. But PTS is creating a budget-oriented system. They have not finalized the price point. They had a prototype that was going to be inbound from overseas, but unfortunately it didn't make it in time for SHOT Show. So they just had a really big poster that described what the MAWL would be doing. They're also producing different type of pressure pad switches that are going to work with that MAL system. So they're going to have a lot of really higher end operator type of attachments just for stacking the shit out of your rifle system. A lot of really cool things coming from PTS as far as accessories. Streamline's the other brand. Thank you. Surefire and Streamlight. That would be on the front of those hub systems. Does kill it every year. Yep. That ARP9. Listen, that ARP9, that ARP mag, I'm a little upset about. So listen, I know that a lot of guys are running the ARP9. I know that a lot of guys are running the Scorpion Evo. But according to my calculations, doing the numbers out of midair, the MP5s are doing way more than ARP9s or Scorpion Evos. So maybe we should get some MP5 mags from PTS. And I brought it up to them. I'm like, bros, when are you guys going to make MP5 mags? And they're like, well, no one's running MP5s. And I'm like, come on. Everyone's running MP5s. Hell, Elite Force is making new MP5s like every 6 months. You can't tell me that no one's running MP5s. The Fight Night, the KWA Fight Night, there was someone that was running the MP5. It was Valiant. Valiant was running the MP5. I don't remember seeing anyone that was running a Scorpion Evo. Weird. PTS mags. Yes. So the PTS mags, I'm kind of working kind of in order as to the wall that PTS had. So new PTS EPM magazines with Speed QB collaborations. That's going to be the yellow, the pink, and the teal. The yellow, pink, teal. Yeah. The red base plates for the ARP9 magazines that PTS is manufacturing is not in collaboration with Speed QB. That is going to be a PTS exclusive product. So if you really like those ARP9 magazines and you want that red color coordinated system, then you have to get it from PTS exclusively. They're also making translucent EPM magazines. So they're kind of copying what I've been doing on my EPM magazines, which I'm trying to find an EPM magazine. Here we go. Just on the other M4 that's right behind the one I'm putting up on the wall. So on my EPM magazines, I've been doing this hack for forever. So you can take the imitation bullets out from that center there, but I also do an extra thing, and it's a little hard to see on the on this farther out space, but there's a hole that's drilled right here. And that is for when I have the magazine in my rifle. That hole sits just below the receiver. So whenever I'm in a really high engagement space and I can't look at the actual bullet space as far as, because it's not like super obvious. The only obvious part is when you can tell if it's fully loaded, but you can kind of like tilt it off to the side and see where BBs are on the side there. So I have a hole drilled on the side. So when I look off to the side of the receiver, I can see when the last 15 rounds in the magazine are still there. So I know if there's a BB in the chamber, I have at least 15 shots. I have more than 15 shots. Versus if I see no BBs in that hole, that means I'm out and I need to get to reloading as ASAP. Get myself into cover and reload, or get a buddy to cover me. KWA MP7 AEG, that's not coming out just yet. And no one is telling me anything as far as an KWA AEG MP7. I think we're stuck with the Umarex AEG model, the Elite Force AEG model. Were they OEMs you were sad to miss out on? G&G not pulling up broke my heart. Yeah, G&G, KWA, and there was another company that didn't show up as well. There was a shit ton of real firearm companies that didn't show up. SIG, I don't think SIG showed up. Did SIG show up? I don't remember seeing SIG. Colt, I did not show up. Daniel Defense, I don't think showed up. Browning, I don't think showed up. Browning did not show up. I know that for a fact. There was another really big firearm company that decided not to show up as well. There was a lot of empty space, but it was cool that they could fill those spaces with couch or like big conference tables So it was actually a really clean environment to have those big spaces to sit down with reps or with other people from the industry, like meeting up with another airsoft branch and then just sitting down and being like asking them questions and then troubleshooting back and forth and having like really cool conversations. I thought that that was a really, really good use of the space that was left behind by those big companies. Obviously, it was super terrible that we didn't get to see those companies, but they did the best with what they had. New Speaky Mags look super clean. They do. Like the I get like the super bright coloration, the bright blue, the pure blue, the bright red, and the orange, like the pure colors of just regular. But then like just offsetting that color grade just a little bit, so you get a little bit more retro-y, and it's like, ooh, what's going on here? So I like that it's a new, fresh breath of color, and it's not the standard blues or greens or silvers. The Unity Fast Mount is super nice with the dye mask for sure. Yes, they are. But I don't run full face mask. I actually run the cloth soft-sided masks, which I have off to the side here. At least I should. Shit, where is it? Well, I had it. I had it at one point. I don't know exactly where it went, unfortunately. With BTS, they also showed off the helmets. There's nothing really new about that, but they did have the really big proper analog NVGs on there, like the quad tube stuff. They did have those wrapped by Nakorium. I want to say Nakorium, but he's going to be linked in the PTS description because he was shouted out by my boy Jason from PTS. He's a new face at PTS as well, so we got to see him. Show in the comments who loves the PTS Radian Model 1 or would want a PTS Radian Model 1, because there are some cool things coming out from PTS involving the Radian Model 1. And they're making it in a battery-powered system, but it's electric recoil. So it's part of their ERG series or their AEG3 series. So it's going to be battery-powered. It has that large copper bolt in the buffer tube that goes backwards, so you get that mimicking recoil. We have a customer, staff member that has a Radian Model 1 gas blowback. He wanted to use it exclusively for outdoors, but he can't get it below the joule limit. So I think this is going to be the next best thing for him because he really likes the Radian Model 1 series. I really like the functionality of that bolt system, but unfortunately, I think that we're going to have to set him up with that battery-powered system just so he can use it outdoors like he wanted to. I hate the fact that the Radian Model 1, the gas blowback model, the barrel is like stuck to the upper receiver. I can't get the barrel off. Like it's just on there. I've put my whole body weight just trying to get that barrel nut off, ripping it off. It's not coming off. It's a stuck bitch. So I think we're just going to have to fix it by going with the battery-powered system, unfortunately. The PTS Zev OZ9. Oh, nothing about that. I know that the Core Elite, which is the Simon Platinum series rifle system, that's in collaboration with Zev and their Tokyo Marui Glock, but not a Glock. I think that's going to be exclusively, if you're asking about the Glock, I think that's going to be exclusively for overseas stuff because of that Glock licensing for the US. I think that's part of the issue. Green Mag, also EPM coming in green. Once it hits the US market, you guys will be the first to know. But all this, everything from PTS goes to the European and Asian market stuff first. That's just how PTS works and operates. So they're going to get all the super cool accessories stuff first before we do. So it's going to be a little bit of time before we can get those OD foregrips and OD magazines, because those will be added to my collection as well. Thoughts on the AAPO1? It's a cool system. It's a good bang for your buck. I would definitely prefer that over the Wii Galaxy. If you haven't seen my Wii Galaxy video, you can go check that out and how much I shit all over it. Not sorry. But that is pretty much all of PTS. We got to get to the boring one, and that was Valken. Valken doesn't have a whole lot of new news. They are dropping the ASL series. So if it's not part of the ASL Plus, they're scrapping it. They are going to be carrying the SIG pistols and rifles, including the MPX. Funny story that Evic is actually going to get the first batch of MPX rifles, and then the rest are going to be allocated for Valken. Valken also is getting some KWC manufactured CO2 pistols, so the exact same as the 1911s, but they're just Smith & Wesson licensed for whatever reason. And that is pretty much it. They're all, oh, never mind. So Valken is also doing some Ace Tech type of tracer units. So if you like the Bifrost, but you can't find the Bifrost, the Valken Spitfire, the Valken Modfire, I forget the actual name of it, but they will be making a Bifrost-esque of tracer unit and carrying that. They're also going to have a couple other type of accessories specifically from Valken, a whole bunch of new pouches and stuff. You know, Valken. Will there be someone to make a good SCAR H? VFC WE area is pretty much garbage. You're not wrong. Everyone really likes the SCAR platform for video game reasons. However, you also forgot Cyma on that list. I think in order of trash, it's going to be WE, Cyma, Ares, VFC. So if you're looking for a SCAR H type of platform, the VFC is going to give you the least amount of issues, but not saying that there's not going to be any issues. So unfortunately, it's kind of picking your poison. Wish Ace Tech was that shot. I do too. There would have been a lot of really cool things to see. Did you guys see that Ace Tech is coming out with their own tracer BBs? They're coming out with new greens, bio greens, and reds. So I have somewhere, because I have shit everywhere, I have the BLS brand of tracer BBs. The reds, I will exclusively run the BLS reds. I think they're the brightest of all the red colors, but I haven't been able to find a BLS red tracer or green tracer BB in the last 2 years. So I think secretly Ace Tech may have taken over whatever factory that BLS was using. I'm really hoping that's the case, because I loved those red tracer BBs. Coming out with a new lighter BT as well. I did not see that. But honestly, not a huge fan of the BT. I mean, it's cool. It had a lot of really cool features when it came out, but it's also like, what else can you guys do for tracers? Not to say it's a bad tracer at all. It has really cool features. It's just never really fit into any specific player's niche. It was kind of like one of those tracer units that the Ace Tech players really need to get to add to their Ace Tech collection. Is that an SR 25K on the wall? Oh, you mean this guy? No, so that is a KWA ERG. That guy's about 12 years old at this point. So that is probably the oldest gun in my collection. And it was really cool. Oh, I love always showing this guy off. So this is unique because it actually has a Magpul licensed receiver back when KWA was still doing those. I have it currently in like a Block 2 type of setup. So it's a longer rail system, a little more traditional of a SOP mod stock, short dot. Oh, the PTS Unity is also making a short dot scope riser system. So I'll be getting one on this bitch. Yeah. And what's crazy, this is always the guy that I point out of, you get your rifle system, you get a good brand, you get a brand that works and has really good reliability, really high quality control standards, and you take care of it, and it will work for you every day that you go out and use it. So this guy is pretty much bone stock internally. The gentleman before me that owned this had the rail system put on. I put the Magpul stock on. This is actually one of the original Magpul shorty mags. that I exclusively don't run on this system. And then I did put that short dot system on there, and my woodland sling. So this is kind of like my my special girl that I don't really take out unless I really need to show her off. My special girl. Are there any news Valken, Baba Yaga, CO2 blowback magazines that are good at sealing? Excuse me. That is not COVID. I'm testing negative. So the Baba Yaga pistols from Valken, I've not heard anything about those guys. So I don't know. And as far as those magazines, those are going to be a little bit more uniquely sized. So it's kind of like toss up in the air. Is it going to work? Is it going to work well? Is it going to hold air to the blowback unit housing? Who knows? It's kind of a crapshoot. Get it, try it out. If it works great, pick up some more. But I don't really know anything from personal experience or even customer experience. Lighter BT was great for Christmas games. We'll have Shake to Wake. Oh, I like that feature. Ish. I don't really. None of my newer tracer units have really noticed that as being a cool function. It's a feature. I've never really noticed it as being a performance-driven system or just a system at all. Lance Tactical Gen 3, I played tons of games and shot tons, no issues, cheapest gun on the field, but mine is always firing. The Gen 3s, Lancer Tactical has done a lot of quality control and a lot of research and development, a lot of R&D going into that Gen 3 series. They really hit that out of the park. And it was funny because I did the interview video with Andy from Lancer Tactical, and he full-on admitted that the Gen 1s were trash. But part of that Gen 2 process was learning from the mistakes of the Gen 1s and fixing those. So we had a really, really, really solid Gen 2 system, and we still do. Gen 3s, nailed it. They're great. But I still need to get to the Lancer Tactical on my list. That's a nice reference for the thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Can you show us that Mark 18 in the back? Which Mark 18? I have technically 4 Mark 18s, technically. Mark 18, Mark 18, a Mark 18, well, 5 actually, Mark 18 and a Mark 18 model. So you let me know which one you want to see. Did Elite Force actually fix the MP7 AEG, or will we have to wait for the HP system overseas? They didn't really fix it. To be fair, Elite Force has been kind of slower on the production side of things. So they're working through a lot of getting the right parts and right equipment. They are discontinuing some of their more competition series in favor of some other manufacturers. So that is something to look forward to. You guys are asking all the questions out of order of what I want to present them to you. Gearology. Are you excited about the Strike Tactical EMG lineup, given that they are Cyma Platinum internals? EMGs. And Evike is on my list as well. So Evike has the benefit of a lot of really cool, unique firearm brands that they are able to do collaborations with. Of the EMG lineup, the Cyma Platinum has been by far the better manufactured rifle systems that EMG has produced. There's a lot of confusion with the EMGs, and I'm trying really hard to be as polite as possible. EMG is going through multiple airsoft manufacturers to present a new rifle system that is marked as EMG. And it's super confusing because everything is called EMG blank. And every once in a while, we'll get a new player in that's like, I just bought the EMG blah, and I need accessories, batteries, fixes for the EMG blah. And I'm like, please give me a picture or some type of product pin number that I can then look up and identify who the actual manufacturer is, so I can tell you how fucked you are. And that is not always a great conversation to have, but it unfortunately is a conversation that does get had all too often. With the EMG stuff, just do your research, see who the original manufacturer is. Unfortunately, from the Lbx stuff, that is kind of the stuff that does get broken much more easily. So it's very unfortunate that they have a lot of really cool licenses that they can do a lot of really unique things. I just wish they did a little bit better work with manufacturing. That's my take on EMG and Lbx. So we can cross Lbx off my list already because I knew that was going to be a super short talk. When are the Evo Pts Mags? They estimated Q2 to Q3, so that's going to be about summertime. But reality with how things are going as far as airsoft production, more than likely those will get pushed back to Christmas. That's how it is. The HPA marketing team with the bronze rail, second rail on the left, is the CM041 SD6 Blue Edition Simon any good? I'm assuming you're referring to the Cyma manufactured MP5 clone. If so, those are phenomenal systems. Locus 2X Airsoft. You are talking about this guy. So this is, are you selling the metal MP5 SD? Yes. As soon as we have those in store, I'll be making a video, making a lot of pictures, and probably adding one to my collection because I need something other than my A4. Even though I love my A4, just let's add a SD6 to it. So Kyle, you asked about this guy. This we added to our collection when myself and the other technician Brady went down to the Wolverine Summit training, where they sat us down and showed us not only the internals of all of the Wolverine HPA engine systems and how to install them and troubleshoot them, but also the new lineup of the MTW system. So this is our MTW that Brady and I took from a box of parts that it was just a rubber clear container that I usually have all my extra parts in as well. Again, not around me. And they literally just dumped in front of the table and we're like, okay, we're going to spend the next 8 hours putting the MTW together and showing you how to troubleshoot it. So this is technically a prototype MTW before they were actually released onto the airsoft market. So this is so prototype. It has none of the Wolverine markings on it. So, oh, and it obviously it's the MTW engine system right there. But what's cool is that we were able to bring the Block 1 or the Mod 1 Block 1 rail system, the Daniel Defense rail system here. We have a EMG training quick detach mock suppressor, Magpul stock, Magpul grip with the basic wiring system inside here. EOTech is for Brady. I usually take it off and put an Aimpoint T2 on there. And this guy's a solid performer. I actually probably should make some videos of us going and playing with it. Unfortunately, I have too many guns, but not enough time to actually go and play. Is that right? How does the MTW fare compared to the FE, the Fusion engine? I can't say a whole lot because I don't have the Fusion engine myself. I personally like the convenience of the MTW. It is probably hands down, probably the best HPA system that you can get direct factory compared to some of the other systems like the Fusion engine, maybe a Wolverine Inferno, N7 Milsim. When it comes to doing HPA installs, there's a lot of inconsistencies when trying to reassemble it to your gun. A lot of people will mistakenly just parts together a gun and try to make it work, when in reality, there's a lot of things that you need to consider when it comes to aligning the gearbox and the HPA nozzle to that inner barrel hop-up unit. A lot of really small things that not a whole lot of people take into consideration. So the MTW being a completely proprietary system, yes, proprietary, but that then guarantees that everything is perfectly in line for you as a player to give you the best performance possible. So we like the MTW for that reason. Now, granted, I also have the Kythera in my 416, and I have had an Inferno sitting around somewhere, but I prefer my battery-powered systems. Wait for the BCM MCMR AEG US version, or just get the Asia version. Wait for the US version. Wait for the US version. Time and time again, people will purchase the Asian market of product and then try to increase the velocity or just try to get it to US level. And then it ends up shattering internally because of too high tension of spring. But that is also a calculated risk that you can take. Because the BCMs are going to be utilizing the VFC manufacturing group, you got a little bit better quality of parts internally. So I say wait for the US version, but it's your money. You can do whatever you want. I know someone that has the Asian market one, and he's done very minimal stuff to it, and it works really, really, really well. It's a pain to make the nozzle and barrel to be concentric. It is. So that's why I prefer that guy. Where was I on the list here? After Valken was going to be KWA. So KWA, as we know, did not have a booth at SHOT Show. They instead had their digital product release, which was paired with the finale of season 1 of Fight Night. Well, Fight Night, not whatever. So the new products from KWA are going to be part of the original series, and it is called Original Series. And that is going to take their QRF series of rifle systems and just make them into a polymer body, but retaining the same of internal system. So the QRF series, like the T6, the Mod 1, Mod 2, Mod 3, the TK45, TK45C2, and Ronin 47, and they're going to make those into a polymer body, but have the same AEG 2.5 internal system, which if you guys are not familiar with KWA, what are you doing? Go watch some of the other videos that I produce. But those are going to be an adjustable spring tension internal system from KWA. So you have one set internal spring set for 350, and then you can apply more spring tension on that spring that's already in there to get as close to 400 as possible. So really cool, convenient system. You get something like the Ronin 47, like I have behind me. This guy, which is that AEG 2.5 gearbox system. And you can then have your rifle set up to how you want it, and then it can just stay like that. And then you can just apply more tension for outdoors and then loosen tension for indoors, instead of having one gun set for indoors and another gun set for outdoors. That's kind of the whole point behind it. I really like this system a lot, specifically the Ronin 47. I got to hold this the first time at SHOT Show 2020, and I was like, son of a bitch, I'm hooked. So I went and got one as soon as they landed here in the US. So this is the very first one that was unboxed from that KWA batch. And it has definitely served its purpose. I went and sweeped a bunch of speed softers with this when it is still bone stock. So I really like, and I'm a huge endorsement of the KWA performance. If you can't tell, a little biased. They're also going to be releasing the 10 series. Well, not a 10 series, but it's going to be the Q10 and the M10 and the Q10. The M10 is going to be a similar system like this. It's going to be an M4 system, but the Q and M10 are going to have a raised top rail system here. It's really confusing because I have a whole lot of accessories on this guy, my T10, but the Q and M10 are going to be more of a 416-esque type of rail system. Still going to retain electric recoil. The M10 stands for M-Lock. That's the easiest way to remember that, which has the M-Lock handguard system. The Q10 is going to stand for the Picatinny rail system. That is going to be Picatinny on the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position. And there's still going to be about a 10-inch barrel length, electric recoil, still a KWA type of receiver, just a little more of a 416-esque raised top rail system. I'm excited about that. I probably won't add one to my collection because I already have the T10 here. And honestly, I'm super excited about their F90, which is their gas blowback AUG. Now, for licensing reasons, actually, it is a licensed product. Is it licensed? I'm really positive it's licensed. I think over the phone, he did tell me it was licensed, but it's a gas blowback AUG, essentially. But they just have to call it the F90 for whatever reason. So I kind of drooled really hard over that. And I'm not a fan of bullpups at all. I mean, there's one on the wall here, but that's because it's, you know what, I got to get this out of the way. So this is not something that's in my collection, but it's technically the store's. But I do plan on running an HPA'd version of this for a gameplay at some point. So it takes regular M4 mags. It's HPA'd, so whatever. Pretty unique system. But the fact that I could get a AUG and it blows back, that's really exciting. I am looking forward to that. Probably not as a performance piece, but more as a cool AUG system. Looking for the RWA Battle Arms Development SBR AEG. I have not seen anything about that, unfortunately, so I can't give my two opinions. My Glock 19X spring is not working good. Which spring is it? Nozzle spring, recoil spring. I'm not exactly sure which one. Sorry. Lbx Armistice 3 will be in Wolf Gray. I asked, and I don't think Wolf Gray was on the list, but they did say that they will be doing a Desert Night camo, a Desert Night DNC. It's too late at night. I'm ready for bed, but I still need to hit the gym. Okay. 19X spring guide is not working good. The half blowback or full blowback? If it is the full blowback, I gotta grab my 19X. You guys are asking a lot of really good questions. Now, I forgot. I accidentally had installed a short stroke spring guide in this 19X. So it's not the original one, unfortunately. Are you running green gas or CO2? If you're running CO2, it could be that your recoil spring guide rod may have worn down or may have a bind somewhere in the spring guide here. So the 19X and the Gen 4s and Gen 5s run off of a dual spring guide system. So there may be part of a BB, the spring itself may be bind, or there may be additional material stuck inside of the internal spring guide rod. So take that apart, try to see if it's something inside there. That would be my best guess as to, you know, your 19X spring guide not working all that well. But I have this short stroke kit, and it's trash. It's very, very bad. I am not a fan of this, but I will be making a video about it because, right, when I have all of the rubber O-rings on the short stroke kit, and I can still pull the slide back and lock it open. It's not doing that good of a job of a short stroke kit. So not a huge fan of that. Anyway, moving on from KWA is going to be Lancer Tactical. So Lancer Tactical has a lot of really cool systems this year. I say systems all too much. So if you guys did not see the press release of Lancer Tactical, they actually now have the official Kalashnikov license. that's really cool to see because it's such an old and universally known brand name. And so many people are already putting just Kalashnikov on everything already. Um, it's definitely a step forward when getting the official Kalashnikov license. So Lance Tactical is going to be producing the similar AKs that they already are releasing, but it's now going to be official Kalashnikov license. And they're also making the PP19. For anyone that doesn't know what the PP19 is, it's the Russian MP5, which has only been available from LCT. And that rifle, PDW SMG, is ridiculously expensive. So the Lance Tactical PP19 is going to be a polymer body. It feels really, really tight. It feels like, even for the prototype model, they put a lot of care into accenting and putting extra polymer on the PP19 body where it needs extra reinforcement. The handguard felt good. It was a pin dust cover, folding stock, locking stock, really good controls. Really liked it. So keep a lookout for that. It's also going to be half the retail price of the LCT. So that's an additional bonus right there. And again, dependent on where you see the LCT PP19. But it's not official, but the Lancer Tactical PP19 is going to be $279 or $299. It's going to be like somewhere in that range. So I think it's going to be pretty competitively priced. Again, it's a little bit more, but it's way cheaper than the LCT one, honestly. So we have those. We're going to get some real full-size AKs, 47s, and 74s with real wood as well as real metal receivers from Lance Tactical. Really, really cool to see that. Someone spoiling the Galaxy-like pistol. Yes, so that is going to be a licensed Mark IV pistol. It's intentionally designed to be a 22 caliber speed type of pistol. So on the left side of the frame, they have a couple of those thumb rests where on a speed type of pistol, you would have those thumb rests. Very odd bolt release on the top of the left frame grip frame. And that is going to be compatible with the Bifrost standard 14 counterclockwise threading. It does have a gas pedal. Thank you. And it is going to be a different iron sight system, and it is going to have a optic system on the top there, just like with the Wii Galaxy or the AAP01, but just licensed from a actual 22 caliber Ruger Mark IV competition class. We're getting a lot of really cool licensing this year. So I'm hoping that we're going to continue to bridge that gap between airsoft and firearms by having that bridge of licensing. Super cool. Lance Tactical is also going to be making true 5.1 high kappas that are going to be Tokyo Marui compatible. Actually, 95% of the parts and components of the Lance Tactical are going to be Tokyo Marui compatible. So for any guys that really like building out those pistols, that's something that you can look forward to, having more parts available to your already arsenal of parts for your high kappas. Lance Tactical is also going to be making braces. So the flux brace of the, actually not the flux brace, the B&T brace. They're making one for the Glock, which is B&T licensed. So that they have the same type of fold-out PDW stock or brace, whatever you call it. There's going to be a top optic mounting system, but it's not Picatinny. And then they have regular ambi cycling bolt systems for Glocks and 1911s/high kappas. So we're going to see some of those newer systems coming to the market for those specific pistols. They're going to be making some PDWs and SMGs very, very, very similar to the classic Army Nemesis X9 PDWs, strikingly similar. But those are going to be done, again, in licensing to another firearm brand that I forget, but it is going to have the Zion Arms programmable MOSFET system. So if you already have a Gen 3 or like the MOSFET system of a Gen 3, that's going to be in there. Metal bodies all around on those systems. really cool. They did have the Picatinny back slot system for like a SIG MCX or MPX. Those are going to be compatible with those stocks or other stock systems that you guys like for those stock Picatinny mount systems. So that's going to be really cool. And a lot of really cool things coming from Lance Tactical. A lot of things in the background as well that I can't mention just yet. From Lance Tactical was supposed to be Evic, but we already mentioned Evic, so we're not going to light that torch again. Elite Force, saving Elite Force, second last on the list. I just hit the 1 hour mark, so thank you guys for sticking with me. Elite Force has a lot of new products, but like we mentioned before on this video, they do have a lot of issues as far as getting a consistent production going. Granted, they have a lot of rifle systems that are coming out or are out, so it's a little bit of struggle on their part to get the quantity up while also meeting the quality. But to keep it short, we're going to get systems like the MG4, which is going to come out early 2023. I realized I found out that was 4 years in the making. They kept that secret very tight to the chest. Like, they did not let any leaks through that MG4 was coming out. So very cool that was kept very, very low ball. Huge fan of that MG4. I mean, it's a very classic firearm, especially, or not a classic firearm. It's a very modern firearm. You see a lot in video games, and the weight was absolutely shocking. I mean, it's a long rifle system. It's probably like the length of this. Yeah, it's like the length of this system, but it's like half the weightage. It's stupid light. It's so odd picking it up and then putting it up to your shoulder and going, this shouldn't be this light. It was very, very impressive. You guys just saw my light just died. But that's coming out early 2023, and unfortunately, it's going to be a very, very big price point, like I had anticipated in that MG4 video. We're getting the competition 416s, which are manufactured by Cyma. Another Cyma product coming from Elite Force or from another company. And those are going to be licensed 416 bodies that are going to be a polymer construction. So all of the beginner players that want the proper 416s, like what Elite Force is producing on their Avalon series, like what I have here, but they don't have the $500 to put towards a 416. That is the next best option for them. So I'm really excited about that and seeing some of the performance that can come out from those. We're going to see a lot more 416 operators coming out in next year. We mentioned the SD6, which I'm going to add to my collection. That's going to be sitting right there, sitting nice and pretty. That is going to be a Cyma manufactured rifle system as well. Same exact internals as the Cyma limited edition. I've already partially taken it apart. It does not come with a quick change spring system. Ooh, so close, Elite Force. So close. It would have been really cool if they did have the proper quick change spring system, but it doesn't. So next time. What else? New generation of the UMP Gas Blowback. Technically still the Gen 7, but it's just reinforced of certain parts, which we haven't seen a gas blowback UMP in a very, very long time. I think it's long overdue that we should get one here at the store to sell, because I think that would be really, really, really cool. From there, and I'm kind of mentally going down the list and down the wall of when we visit Elite Force, they're doing new 416s, the electric recoil system in a 416D, so a little bit longer of a barrel length, slightly different rail system, and in a kind of an OG receiver setup for a 416. They're doing that in the KWA electric recoil gun system, and they're also doing it with the LM4 internal system. So if you like the functionality and operation of a gas blowback, if you already have LM4 magazines, that's going to be a really great system for anyone to pick up, because it's an LM4 internal system, but it's a 416. 416 gang. What Carl was super excited about coming from Elite Force was the fact that they are producing a semi-automatic shotgun. Like, who knew Elite Force was going to be making a semi-automatic shotgun? It's going to take the 30-round shells, again, that I have sitting around here somewhere, but they're just somewhere else. And I know that there's a conversion system to run like M4 magazines through those traditional 30-round shell magazine types. But it takes a single 12-gram CO2 canister in the stock here. You puncture it, and it's semi-automatic. So as fast as you can pull the trigger, it's going to send 3 BBs down the inner barrel. I was talking with Cliff, and he was saying that they were originally trying to get it to be a single shot or a 3-shot. But the issue was that with that disconnector system, they couldn't get the single shot to sit below 750 feet per second. So they're like, we're just going to make it a 3-shot shotgun, period. And that's the only thing that they're going to get. So it was really cool to see that they're trying to innovate, trying to get something that is going to have some type of balance for you guys if you wanted to have that option to go single shot or tri-shot. But unfortunately, it doesn't work in their favor. CO2 is a nasty thing to work with. So they just made it a 3-shot burst through a single inner barrel. But I'm still really excited about that because, again, it's semi-automatic, and there's not a whole lot of semi-automatic gas-powered systems. I think that's going to be one of the first one. No, that's the second or third gas semi-automatic shotgun for Airsoft. We're getting some new BB battles, some new tracer bags, some 4.0 bags, small stuff. On the pistol side of things, we are getting the Glock 42. So if you guys are huge fans of Glock like this guy, the 42 is going to be a 380 caliber subcompact single stock. Excuse me. I'm talking so much that I'm getting all burpy. So imagine a Glock, but the slide is this long. The grip is this deep, and you kind of cut the gun in half. So it's literally fits in my palm. And that I'm going to show off in the actual Elite Force pistol review video that I am going to throw up here in the next week. That's coming out. They're also releasing the Ghk Gas Blowback 17 Gen 3. So that's going to be Ghk, the really nice gas blowback rifle manufacturer that everyone loves to talk about, how great it is, but it's so expensive. Well, they made a 17 Gen 3, the officially licensed one. You guys have probably seen it all over the place already, but it feels real. Like, for all the guys that have the Elite Force Glocks and are like, wow, this feels really realistic, the Ghk is way closer to real. And I have real and carry and shoot real. In fact, I've got a real one sitting on my desk. So yeah, I am super excited. I am super stoked about the Ghks. Like, it was stupid how realistic in feel and functionality and weight balance and the texture of the magazine. Like, the green gas magazines, I'm trying to look for mine. I don't think I brought it, but you can like feel and like look and like, oh, this is a Glock magazine. It's kind of close, but it's not really. And then you look at the Ghk one and you're like, son of a bitch, this is real fucking close. And it feels just like the polymer of the real Glock bags. It's stupid crazy. So I'm really excited to get those in and just fuck around with it. We're also going to be getting some Smith & Wessons. The KWC CO2 Performance Center M&P 9L. So we're going to get a long slide of the M&P 9 series by KWC. That's going to have a threaded barrel and raised iron sights. So if you guys want to run tracer units, mock suppressors, stuff like that, that would be a really cool system. But I think it's more designed as a speed gun for competition shooting. Not like a super elite tactical system. Tokyo Marui, MWS, or GHK. Ugh. I'm going to have to go with GHK. I actually had a Tokyo Marui MWS system in here, and it was actually slower firing than my KWA LM4. because I've also shot and fired a GHK, and that is like just faster than my LM4. Like as fast as you can pull the trigger, it's gonna be shooting. Versus, this is my LM4, this guy right here. So this guy, I actually need to see if there's gas inside here. There is gas, haha! And there's actually a gas bottle right here. So this guy, I'm sorry, microphone. The gas is really low. Give me a second. But the MWS, the Toy Community MWS, it's really slow. It is not fast shooting at all. I was not a fan. And the trigger is super spongy, and it felt a little delayed from the time of pull to the time of shot. Was not a fan at all. It would help if I charged it. Right, and sorry, microphone. That's not like stupid fast, but it's like consistently fast. As fast as I can pull the trigger, it's going to get a shot. Tokyo MWS, very delayed. GHK, crisp, tight, excellent system. Unfortunately, all the money that GHK is worth every single cent, and I am too poor to actually afford a GHK setup for myself. What's good sniper rifle around $300 or less? The Amoeba Striker AS01. Compared to, and we've sold a bunch of those to a bunch of sniper players that also run average guns, like the $500 to $700 average decked out bolt action rifles, compared to a $200 bone stock Elite Force Amoeba rifle. And they're like, you know what? The performance between these two brands is very similar. Like, there's pretty much no performance difference. So honestly, I'd suggest going with the Amoeba AS01 over the Navrich, just to save a little bit of cash. But that's just me. I'm not much of a sniper guy. I'm much more into like the recce kits, having that semi-automatic type of action. But I honestly, like, the sniper role is very much romanticized within Airsoft. It's very weird. You're welcome, dude. Elite Force, the M&P 9s. We're gonna have the standard barrel performance center, the M&P 9 duty gun, and then the M&P 9 compact. Those three pistols are going to be the VFC manufactured green gas ones. And I checked, they actually do not feature the same full auto switch like the original M&P 9 series did. If you guys are not familiar with those, the original VFC M&Ps, they actually had a switch on the bottom of the blowback unit housing that you could disassemble, crack. Actually, this guy has a similar detent lock thing that you would need to get a needle nose in there, crack away, and then the M&P 9s actually had a little switch that you could physically knock over, and then that didn't allow the disconnector in the hammer assembly to recognize a single shot. So as long as you held the trigger down, it was just going to keep firing BBs. So that was really cool on the original M&P 9s, but the new systems don't feature that for whatever reason. And the 1911 Legacy. So you guys are familiar with the Elite Force 1911s. They've been out of stock for fucking ever and a half. But the Legacies are going to come with a slotted rails or slide system. So here, kind of on the 45s, and I think it has a cut on the very top here. Same slide length, but it's going to make it a little bit crisper of a action, make it a little bit smoother. It also is going to make it a little bit more attracted to dirt and debris with all those open ports there. So keep that in mind as you're using it. It's going to come in the two-tone coloration. It's also going to come with a 50-round extended magazine, a custom patch, and a custom box with it. So they're only doing a limited run of 700. Now you got to think that's 700 for the entire world. The US gets allocated about uh, a third of what is generally produced for the rest of the world. So of these 700, we're going to get maybe 200. So keep that into consideration when you want to look at getting some Elite Force 1911s, maybe getting that legacy model, because it may be one of the only ones we're going to see for a very long time. Do you know when the CA, JG, Echo 1, FAL mid-cap magazines will be available? I do not. That is going to be completely up to the Elite Force, not the Elite Force, but the individual manufacturers overseas. And quite honestly, they could already be on a shipping container out off the coast of California waiting to get docked. If you haven't seen any of the pictures of all of the freight ships still out at sea, just waiting to get into port, it's still a really, really big clusterfuck. There's not a whole lot of fix there, unfortunately. Would love to see a lot of these newer products actually make it in, but we still got to deal with these production issues and all the tariffs and stuff. But that's still a slope that I personally don't want to go down with you guys. We're going to keep it lighthearted. We're almost done. And that is it as far as all of the Elite Force products thus far. Now we're going to talk about the last and final booth that's going to be relevant to what we're going to carry here in the store. We obviously saw a lot more booths at SHOT Show. I would have loved to actually do like a kind of a smorgasbord of just all of the stuff that we got to see at SHOT Show, and really like show you guys what everything is there. But unfortunately, I just didn't have enough either SD card storage to get everything that we saw, or the battery storage space to actually film everything that we saw. There was a lot of shit there. So you're just going to have to listen to me talk about it and then later on release videos about it. So the last booth that we saw is Psionics. I personally was super excited about Psionics because they were releasing a new night vision system. You guys are probably maybe familiar with the digital night vision system already. Psionics does have the Aurora systems. I'm just turning that off to conserve a little bit of battery. The Aurora system, which they made a sport, an Aurora regular system, and then a Pro line system. So they dropped the sports system. They dropped the sports system in favor of working production solely on the standard system and the Pro series. So there's a bunch of advantages to getting the Pro system over the regular system, and the regular has a couple more advantages compared to the sport. I personally own the sport. That's all I could really afford at the moment. But it's a night vision device that, very much like a traditional analog system, mounts via a NVG night system. So this GoPro system is kind of like an example. So it mounts to a helmet, it comes down, and then your Psionics camera, which I have at home, comes down right here. And it's a camera and it's night vision. So it has its own proprietary internal system that it can take in digital images, and then it runs it through a couple of different filters, and then it projects it onto a viewfinder in front of your eye, and it's a bright image. You can look at some of the other videos that I have of the Psionics sport system, and I kind of have a breakdown between the Psionics Aurora versus a traditional analog system. I personally find that there are more benefits to the Psionics in a non-combative environment that we usually find ourselves in. If I had to go overseas to war, or even war here at home with live weapons, I would probably go with an analog system, purely because that's what all of the training is based off of. That's what a lot of accessories for real firearms are based off of. But that's not my daytime job or nighttime job. So it's not a huge, big concern to me. So I have the freedom of having the option to choose going with a digital system. I find it beneficial that I can go and just hit record, and it starts to record all of the infrared images and the low light images that get processed in the viewfinder. That it makes it great for gameplay. Now, part of the issues is that There's a little bit of a latency and lag system as far as frames per second and how bright I can make an image. There's a couple of things that kind of got worked around into the Pro system. This new system is like everything you could ask for as far as a complete fix of the Aurora. It is called the Psyonix Opsin. I get confused if it's a P or a D. I'm going to pull it up right now because I got the pictures for it. Opsin. I have pictures of that on the channel's community page, which is just where you can get normal pictures and stuff. It's built like an analog system, and I'm looking at it right now. I don't know if you guys can zoom in close enough, or you can just look at it on your phone in a couple minutes. It's built just like an analog system. So all the guys that are training for an analog system, they have a familiar now muscle memory of it. It still records in the same frame rate and everything of the traditional Psyonix cameras, but it has much more computing systems, so it can clean up the image at a greater distance, up to 150 meters. Now we're getting to the point in digital night vision where it's starting to become usable or really comparable to an analog system. Unfortunately, the price point of that Psyonix camera for the proper analog style now is going to be around $2,500. For me personally, I kind of think that makes it worth it. I mean, it has all the correct benefits. It's getting to the price point of real night vision. So hand to hand, I would rather have something that can properly record directly into the system. I know you can record with a proper analog system. However, you do need to get offset systems like the Brain Exploder proprietary mirror system. You can get those to work. Unfortunately, just the setup to record that is $500 additional. So yeah, you can get an analog system for $2,000 roughly. You can get a mount for $400, but then if you want to record, you spend an additional $500. So you're actually much closer to $3,000 than the Psyonix $2,400, $2,500 model. So again, it's only $500, but I would rather have the Psyonix systems. I really like some of their products and what they're doing. And I plan on incorporating more of the Psyonix footage in Airsoft Arena channel videos, which if you guys haven't seen that, we are making a channel specifically for the Airsoft Arena, which is going to be arena gameplay, arena game modes, different arena tactics, EQB stuff, exclusively arena-based channel. So we are really excited to be launching that. And you may see more Psyonix used footage on that channel than really this one, because I would use the Psyonix to go out hiking, but those videos don't do really well on this channel. So, and I can't use it for gameplay because I really don't get time to go and play games. So it's a catch-22. Anyway, that is all that I have. Are you going to any AMS events this season? I really want to try to go to the GTI one. No, not G. Which one has the crazy big skull on the side? Yeah, that's GTI. So I do want to go to the AMS GTI one. I know that they're having another one at Guardian Center. Guardian Center is just a little bit too far of a drive. It's a really good setup, but it's really hard to get off time here. So that's what I have. Actually, you know what? We talked about LBX. Let's go and talk about AMS. American Milsim events. I've been to several. I really like their setups. Obviously, huge fan of the LBX. I'm wearing their pants right now. I've got their fucking tactical gear. So, biased. Their southern fronts. So all of their front systems are in collaboration with individual fields in different parts of the US. So I really like that fact they're collaborating with those fields. So they are going to Georgia. So they are going to Guardian Center before. So AMS Iron Horse 4 is going to be their Guardian Center event in April. I'm not going to be able to make it to that one. Northern Front, I'll try to make it to that one. I know last year they had Northern Front. I was not able to attend. So I would like to go and try it out. I know that it was kind of a little more relaxed of an event. It wasn't nearly as hardcore compared to some of the other front systems or other games that AMS holds, but it'd be fun to go and support those guys. Just go out and play when I can. Anyway, we are clearly winding down. I need to get the helmet off because it makes me look bald because my fucking receding hairline and my billboard of a forehead can start charging advertisers on there. Balding jokes. Anyway, I am all done here. We've hit almost that 90-minute mark. It has been exhausting. And here I thought I was going to go to the gym after this. I thought this was going to be a quick, short video, just lay everything out, and then just go hit the gym, hit the weights. Apparently not. So I may have to wake up super early tomorrow morning to go and do that. But that's neither here nor there. So I am all done here. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Thank you guys for participating, for everyone that put question downs into the comment section. I really appreciate it. Really fun interaction. Really enjoyed our time together. And with that, I bid you guys adieu. I want you guys to take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.